Hello.
Welcome into twitch.tv/iScreamWolves. My name is Graham D, and I've only just realised that I had a conversation with Bibby off stream last week, which you guys wouldn't have known at all. But there was a period, there was a point in time where I said to Bibby, "Your room looks very orange for some reason, rather than the bluey purpley stuff." And he had to reset his light, and he looks like that right now. But we'll just leave it. It's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know why it's gone back to this again. I don't know whether or not it timed itself out or something. But I can guarantee if I unplug it and plug it back in again, it'll go darker again. I don't know.
12 says it's glow coming off his hair. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Yes, so there you go. Anyway, welcome in. How you doing? My name is Graham. This is Orange Bibby. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and this is The Scoop.
The UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. Yes, Queen.
We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live some days, once every now and then, with the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We bring you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games, plus our thoughts and our impressions. An hour of impressions? It's not what I meant to say, but it's kind of that anyway, so we'll go with it. But it's not just about our thoughts and impressions. We want your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. So if you are in the stream, please do feel free to get involved. The live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music and Google Play. That's a lot of places where over 200,000 people have watched and listened to this podcast on demand.
Blimey.
Yeah, so please do feel free to get involved in the chat on behalf of those people. Just a reminder, if you're watching this stream on Twitch, you will get about 27,000 advertisements, because that's how Twitch be rolling these days. You can either get past that by, subbing to the channel, which was great. We appreciate that very much. Or getting yourself Twitch Turbo or something like that. If you do sub to the channel, just to let you know that you will be entered into the monthly giveaway that we call the Loot Drop, which will take place in exactly 7 days' time. Well, I say exactly. A couple of hours-ish back-ish. An hour and a half-ish. So 3 p.m. on the first Monday of the month, we take everyone that's a sub, throw all their names into a hat, and then pick one person to bag themselves a prize. So that will take place on Monday next week. So if you are a sub at 3 p.m. next Monday, you will be in the Loot Drop. If you aren't,
Sucks to be you.
Also, a couple of reminders. Next time we play FIFA on the channel, we have a copy of FIFA to give away because, FC24, because we hit our sub goal last week. So whenever that is, nice, get involved. Also, some people saw it when we were streaming the other day as well. We have a new channel point redemption that only costs 1 sprinkle, which is the early bird loot drop. Don't use it now. You waste a sprinkle. But that's just a reminder. Oh, there you go. JK just lost one. Unlucky. That's just... Oh, and sheep. Unlucky. That is just a reminder that... that's basically us rewarding the early gang, yeah? The early bird people that drop in the stream, every now and then we might roll in with something that we can give away. It might be some in-game, some currency. It might be a full game. Might be some ICU loot. It might happen all the time. It might happen once in a blue moon. The only way you figure out is to come in early into the stream, though, because we'll just say, okay, everyone get involved, redeem that, and everyone that's redeemed it will get your name on the wheel of good shit. But not right now. But we are taking all of those sprinkles. Unlucky boys! So yeah, JMK's lost like 8 sprinkles now. Sucks to be you.
Oh my god.
So yes, on that bombshell, let's jump into the split screen. Hi. What the fuck? Oh, you're back. If you missed it, by the way, we do stream this on Twitch. So if you are listening to it on demand or watching it on demand or any of that sort of stuff, we have the pre-show. So if you want to chat to us about what we've been up to on the weekend and so on, we've already done that. That happened before the stream. You need to get in early doors, earlier than the early bird loot for that sort of stuff. God damn. And then you can chat to us. But, if not, you can always go watch the VOD on Twitch. But for now, let's start talking about video game news. That's what we are here for. And Mr. Bibb, presumably, as soon as you pulled all of the news together, you've seen the fact that Nintendo are reportedly filing a patent for a dual screen gaming device that can split into 2. Are you interested in a Nintendo Switch that can switch up on the Switch?
This is brand new information, Graham.
I know. Well, it's not.
But yes, I am interested.
It's not just yet, because we also need to mention the fact that we'll be talking about Marvel's Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. They're set in the same universe. Confirmed. We'll also be talking about Xbox, and if you're a Cronus user, 12 head. Yeah, we've seen it. Yeah, no, Obviously not 12. If you see the guy, goddamn. No,
Wish everything.
yeah, if you use any devices like Cronus and things like that, chances are you might be getting blocked on Xbox with a new software update. And then speaking about Xbox, we're going to talk about games industry mergers and acquisitions. Some of the biggest stuff that's happened in the world of video games over the last couple of years has been Xbox buying everyone out, and that's what we're going to talk about. It's all right, babe. We'll keep you awake. It's fine.
I don't half make it blatantly obvious. You know?
You might as well, yawn!
Yeah, I say, yeah. Oh, well, this show's going amazingly well. Oh, stay tuned. Stick around.
So, yes, we'll talk about games industry mergers and acquisitions and what we can expect and all sorts of stuff for that to finish things up. But to kick things off, we'll jump into a story. For kicking you. We'll talk into a story, jump into a story about Nintendo. But first, a switchable switch up, says Tank. Took some reading, did that. Michael, hi, how you doing? Sorry, missed that. Was referring to fan mail as I'm now famous. All right, yeah, of course, mate. 12, yeah, nice one, mate. Okay, we were just going to talk about this. It's on screen, written by John Midler at VGC. Nintendo reportedly patented. It's nice. This is not just on the scoop, by the way. Was you on that call where I couldn't say what was it trying to say? I was trying to say something earlier on.
You're trying to say something now.
Yeah, I can't remember what word it was. There was a word I was trying to say, like confirm your or whatever. I don't know what it was. It wasn't that. Confirm, but yeah.
Confirm.
Basically, it's not just a scoop. I've had verbal diarrhea all day. Well, to be fair, anyone that's been here before, seen it before. Nice. Okay, Nintendo reportedly patented a dual-screen gaming device that can split into two. The two sides of the machine can operate independently. Okay. That's the headline. The actual article says, a recently filed Nintendo patent has been discovered that refers to a dual-screen gaming device that can be split in half. That's according to Game Rant, which shared images supposedly attached to a patent reminiscent of Nintendo's 3DS. However, instead of the clamshell design, which saw the top screen fold in onto the bottom screen, this design sees the top screen face out even when the machine is closed over. The top and bottom parts of the machine would also be able to operate independently of each other. While this may indicate some of Nintendo's potential ideas for future devices, the company has a history of similar patents being filed and never coming to fruition. Someone's clearly copy and pasted this because the text size changes straight after the word company. So I see you. Anyway, prior to the announcement of the Nintendo Switch, a patent was filed by the company showing a handheld games machine with a large oval screen with analog sticks protruding through the screen. According to VGC sources, the company has dispatched Switch 2 development kits to key partners with a launch planned for the second half of 2024. The platform holder also showed off tech demos for its Nintendo Switch successor behind closed doors at Gamescom in August. It's understood. The company recently reiterated that plans to use its Nintendo account system to help smooth the transition from Switch to its next gen game. And you know, we don't need to go through all that sort of stuff. We're not too bothered about. This is what we're bothered about: a dual screen front and back screen device that could potentially split into two. Potentially, maybe. Okay, Mr. Bibb. Out of the two of us, you are the more portable gamer than me.
Yes.
You've definitely put more hours into a Switch than I have. Does that wet your whistle? What are you thinking?
It does, yeah. But on the flip side, no, it doesn't. I know, splinters on the arse and all that.
You comfy on that fence?
Yeah. Do you know what I want, Graham? And I'm fairly certain everyone who has a Nintendo Switch now or has a Logitech G Cloud, Asus ROG, Steam Deck, all of these things. What we want is a Nintendo Switch that has a bit more power to it. Like what they have now with this hybrid console where they can dock it or they can play in handheld mode. This is the best of both worlds. I absolutely love what we have the Nintendo Switch, not just because of the hardware that it's on, but the game library that comes with it. Everything related to what Nintendo have done this generation for them has been fantastic. Been a massive swing and a home run. I don't know what they're going to be able to do with this. I feel like they're going back in time. I feel like they're trying to do the 3DS, 2DS-esque models. And I know that they are... I still feel like Nintendo are predominantly a handheld company. Like they love the idea of people having this in their pockets, in their bags. wherever it is portable that they can take this. I hope to God that they keep this hybrid system going, because I feel like that is eventually where we're going to end up across the board. Like, I know PlayStation will always continue to have home consoles, likewise with Xbox, but there might become a time where we have power with portable devices that, like, the Steam Deck is a fantastic piece of hardware, it's still limited. The Asus ROG, a fantastic piece of hardware, still limited. Now, if you have expectations to be able to play AAA games at a decent enough frame rate, with a decent enough resolution, with decent enough battery life, obviously these are the consoles, and your expectations are well set. These are the consoles for you. However, people who predominantly play home consoles that have PlayStation 5 graphics, that have PC graphics, that have Xbox graphics, a lot of the time they don't want to fall back on going and playing things on Nintendo that isn't necessarily Nintendo IPs. Like, people won't buy AAA games often twice. They won't buy it on their predominant console, their main console, and then on the Nintendo Switch, unless it's a game that they absolutely adore, aka Skyrim.
Yep.
Or Temtem, absolutely adore that game as well. So I hope Nintendo stick to the fact that it's going to be a hybrid device, and from what I've seen with that, it doesn't look like it's going to be. I don't want to go back to having a predominantly handheld console. We've got the best of both worlds with this hybrid one, but that also brings up issues with backwards compatibility with Nintendo, which notoriously they're not a fan of, which is essentially why we end up getting repackaged games from various console generations earlier to then get moved and sold at $60 again for the Nintendo Switch. So if they move back into the handheld market with that, you can kiss bye-bye to your Switch games, because they ain't going to run on this device.
Well, the interesting thing is, like, I stopped just as we were touching on it, but the company recently reiterated that its plans to use its Nintendo account system to help smooth the transition from Switch to its next gaming platform. And this is a quote now, "In the past, every device we transitioned to had a whole new account system. Creating the Nintendo account will allow us to communicate with our players if and when we make a transition to a new platform. To help ease that process of transition," Doug Bowser said, "Our goal is to minimize the dip," that's the Nintendo of America president, "Our goal is to minimize the dip you typically see in the last year of one cycle and the beginning of another," he continued. I can't speak to the possible features of a new platform, but the Nintendo account is a strong basis for having that communication as we make the transition." So at least it sounds like they are thinking about backwards compatibility for the current gen into the next gen, not so much beyond. I mean, obviously they are kind of thinking that in digital ways and so on. There's all sorts of arguments that we can talk about that. We'll leave that alone. But they are kind of pondering that to an extent. But the bit that I do find interesting is, I'll bring this back on screen for the two figures that we have. So figure 2.5 shows the device opened up, and it looks very much like an old school DS, like clamshell design, opened up, screen with thumbsticks and so on, and then a top screen. And then below that, we have the original figure 1. I assume it's original, just numerically, which has the device closed up. So imagine I can't even think of any fucking device that opens up. So it's some form of tablet phone device kind of thing. You close it down, but it has a screen on the outside so you can still see it, which is interesting, but it's bizarre because like video games, portable video games were moving very, very fast towards screens up until a few years ago. Everyone was, iPad's the video gaming device out there. Yeah, it's because the iPad was built on solid software and solid hardware, but it wasn't hardware that was meant for gaming. And that's why the rise of Bluetooth gaming peripherals, and that's why smartphones themselves, be that Android or iOS, have both added the ability to use Bluetooth devices like a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller or other aftermarket ones, like your Backbones or your Rizikishis and things, because playing on a screen is horrible, really. It just doesn't work. Ergonomically, we play things better when we have the physical inputs that are meant to control that sort of device. So this kind of looks like it's going backwards in that sort of sense. It looks like the top picture, like, is it two screens that are split like an old school DS, or are we looking at like? Did anyone see the foldable iPhone mock-ups from about 6, 7, 8 years ago. I think it actually turned into one of the Samsung phones, where it's a smartphone that when you unfold it, it effectively turns into a tablet on one side. Is that what's going to happen on the back? Is it going to be a big screen on the back? Because effectively, this top screen, which would be the back screen, is a screen. So, like, if you open it up, it's effectively flat on one side, right? Is that what it is? And if it is, I still feel like, how are you controlling that shit? And if you close it down, how are you controlling it when it's in this format? Is it then going to be touchscreen and stuff? So it's weird. Like Baby says, it feels like it's taking a step back. The Nintendo Switch is great unless you want to hold on to a device and not get hand cramp. Because if you can play the Switch for a long period of time without getting hand cramp, you've got some weird shaped hands. I don't care who you are, that's weird. And this is even worse. Like it's the same square sort of mock-up. Obviously, this is just a pattern. That's not necessarily what the shape is going to be like. But the concept of it is no controls on the outside here. Excuse me, is that just touchscreen or just viewing? Side controls on the inside here. The shoulder buttons there, like... I don't know. I've got so many questions and so many assumptions off the back of that it seems bizarre. It's cool to see that Nintendo are thinking new things, and I would never have put £1 on the Switch being as successful as it was. So what do I know? Nintendo clearly know how to make shit work, and whether it's actually the Switch is a great system or whether it's a good system that's carried by great IP, whatever way it is, it's worked enough. But yeah, this one seems like cool smartphone ideas that when you actually break it down, you're like, but why? but why? So it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. So Nintendo's dual screen gaming device patent. That's what it's talking about. Obviously, if anyone's watching the stream, and the discussing now is right at the edge, slightly bleeding off it. That's just because it was so close that I couldn't be asked tweaking it. So I apologise. That's been doing my nutting whilst it's been there on the screen, but I apologise. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, that was written by Jordan Limid at VGC. If you're interested in a new Nintendo Switch, might lean into that, might not. We'll probably find out midway through next year. If it's going to be on sale second half of 2024, then we're probably going to find out around the E3 air quotes window in the summer. So we'll see. A dual screen splittable portable gaming device. So it's a rage quit Nintendo 3DS. Yeah, fuck this shit. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even comment on that. The fact that it could be split screeny stuff. Is that, when they're talking about that, is that just the fact that you can go from two screens to one screen when you fold it as a clamshell? Or do they actually separate off?
Yeah. It'll be interesting though, won't it? Because that means that the games that are going to be made for it have two separate purposes. Like, you can't create a split screen game and then only... can't create a split screen game and fold the screen down and then play it on one screen.
Yeah.
So there have to be two completely separate SKUs being made for it.
Because the issue you get with stuff like that, though, is you design a game for two screens that are facing you, because you've got your bottom one where your thumbsticks are and the top screen. Great, nice. Often, if we go back to the 3DS, your bottom screen is this little screen that's just kind of used for your extra functions. It's not your main viewing screen. It becomes effectively a peripheral screen with a bit of information on it. But then when brands start to use that stuff, it builds it into the game functions and so on. You play that on one screen, then you suddenly have to change the way that the game works. So then you have to go, oh, well, we can't make core components be on the second screen then, because that would get them really immersed in that second screen. But if someone has to play it on a one-screen device, then it's shit then. So we can't use it. So it has to be novelty shit. And then the second screen by proxy becomes novelty, because if you've got a 3DS and then you get the light version with one screen, okay, well, you've lost half your navigable buttons off it because you don't have that entire screen at the bottom. So yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Be interesting to see how it goes. Would hope the screens are super scratch resistant as well for portable device with exactly. You need scratch resistant screens. So as you're talking about there, Tank, with external, 100%, because anyone that's got a smartphone, like, I reckon 90% of people out there have got some form of screen protector on their phones by now, because keys, loose change, and
just
shit in your pocket.
Just replaced all mine.
Yeah, like mine's due for it soon. I've got a light scratch across my screen now, which just looks like I've got a hair sat on my screen, so I need to get rid of it.
Oh, it's just
it's annoying. But like that's on one side of it. If you've got something that's like an actual functional, usable screen potentially on the outside, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Just a patent for the device, so not necessarily the manufacturer. Yeah, exactly. Like it could be just they could be hiding functions and hardware in plain sight behind other things. So it's not necessarily how it's going to be. It's just a weird concept. If someone had said to you, "What do you see for the Switch 2?" Would you have gone back to a 3DS design as your base point? I don't think I would have done.
No. I think we're far too gone now in the handheld market for us to reconsider going back to that again. It served its purpose for so long. I think the DS is one of the best selling consoles of all time in the handheld. It might even be number one now. No, it can't be, because I think the original Game Boy is still leading it, but then it's in the top 3. So it's not as if it wasn't a great success, but I'm fairly confident that if you was to run a poll now and there was 10,000 people voting on it, that they would continue the trend of what we currently have now. Same way where mobile phones and the way that they used to be, like we're not using VHSs anymore. We don't even use DVDs anymore. Everything's down to streaming. Like we can look back in hindsight at what we had back then, but what we have now in video games, like I don't think going back to a 2DS console or a 3DS console, I don't think it would be graphically appeasing to the modern day consumer. Like people are turning away now from Nintendo Switches, not for the games that are being put out on there, because like Super Mario Wonder is, for all intents and purposes, something that I think we've got in today's stories. I've not got my tab open.
We don't have Wonder in the stories.
Do we not?
No.
I thought I might have put it in for because it was doing the business against Spider-Man. It's definitely an article that I read this morning anyway. But the fact that it's now topping tables again, this Super Mario game, like Super Mario is iconic. But did I think that it'd still be topping the charts in a 2D? Like the 3D stuff, amazing. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that'll be a lot more appealing to the wider audience. But to have like a 3D / 2.5D is a side-scrolling Mario game. Like I thought the days of those was gone. I didn't think people would be super hyped for them, but it is on top of the charts at the moment. Like people can't get enough of it. So I might be eating my own words and saying like a 3DS type console rather than a 4K 1080p handheld console would be better received.
Logistically though, like JMK says something that's clearly quite funny. 2 screens, double the price. That's Nintendo thoughts for you right there. £600, let's go. But that is a consideration in terms of if you put 2 screens on. We're talking 2 modern screens, 2 OLED, fully capacitive, or whatever bits you want to throw in there. Screens that are 4K fucking screens, super refresh rates and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. Not only does that cost a lot, but the power drain on that. We're already seeing things like we're looking at the second version of a Steam Deck. I had to look down then to see what my Stream Deck was called to make sure I called it the right thing then. So we're looking at the second version of a Steam Deck that can give you better power output in terms of make your battery last longer, but also give you enough to run your screen. And then obviously that the flip side of that is not just better power functions, but better battery saving functions in the way that your screens and stuff work and so on. Because obviously the Asus ROG Ally for power consumption and graphics reportedly performs better than a Steam Deck. There's room for improvement on different things like that. But if they're looking at getting max output on one screen and making it last for a good chunk of time, then Nintendo's going, hey, I've got 2 screens. You're going to enjoy that 37 minutes of game time. It's going to be, oh no, it's gone. It's So it does seem bizarre that we are looking at that sort of stuff. And even the closing down of the clamshell of the figures in this, that's the bit that confuses me the most. It's like, where's the peripherals? What am I holding on here? Like, and it's going to be some chonky fat boy kind of thing. 2 screens together. Like, I was never a big fan of the idea of like the phablet market, the phone comes tablet market, a phone that you can fold out to then get a tablet-sized screen. Oh, great, I've got an iPad in my pocket that I fold in half and then end up with 2 phones in one pocket, effectively. No, you're all right. I don't want that. And I don't want that for my gaming device either, because they're going to be heavy enough as it is. A Steam Deck's heavy enough as it is, but give me that with 2 screens. Sheesh. So yeah, PSP Go. That's a great example. Yeah, nice one. Welcome in talk shows, dude. Apparently, that's a new Gen 3DS patent, by the way. Strange them doing 2 portable consoles, if true, unless Switch 2 isn't portable. So, okay, that's an interesting take. So they've got a new Gen 3DS patent, potentially. They obviously take all of this with a pinch, because it's just, all we know is a patent's been filed. We don't have all of the overwhelming details. So this might not be a Switch. It's just a Nintendo patent. Are they going to bring us a Switch console for the home, then, if it's not going to be portable? Which kind of defeats the name Switch, because that's the point of the name. For anyone who doesn't know, Switch is the fact that you could switch between a home and a portable device. It's a single player and a multiplayer platform in one. Is the switch between the two? Like, oh yeah, there you go. Ad says it wouldn't be called Switch 2 though. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Super Mario 1 has surprised me a lot. What if the handheld is the only part of the system and there's a second unit that's like a super dock that gives the higher power gaming? That way, it's still a hybrid that's portable. I mean, that's interesting. So the screens would definitely have to disconnect then. You kind of like you clip them both together to get your docked portable version, which is bizarre, but I see what you're saying. I mean, it's almost like a clip-on battery pack though. Would you need a clip-on battery pack for your clip-on battery pack as well? Like, because I mean, how big do we get here? How we could have sat there with like one of those fucking-scopic lenses for a camera, but for your device. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that one there because we've spent a good chunk of time on that, and we'll jump in to the next story. I'm quite excited for this, and I didn't even know that this was going to be the case. But Marvel's Wolverine and Insomniac's Spider-Man games are set in the same universe. It's been confirmed. Big fan. Just to point out, a lot of people that might not be interested in comics and entertainment IPs that include superheroes and so on, you've got Marvel characters, and then you get the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is all of the Marvel films over the last 20 years that all link together and so on. And then there are other properties, be that comics, be that TV, be that films, be that series, be that games. They all operate in their own little universes where the brands have been let out to other people. Job's good, nice. That's what's happened with Marvel's Spider-Man. They made a game that didn't link to the cinematic universe. It has some nods to it and homages with skins, but it's its own universe. Until now, Insomniac are making Marvel's Wolverine and decided to link that in to the same. So we're getting the cinematic universe, but the gaming-matic universe, but only on PlayStation and Insomniac. So it's cool, obviously not open to everyone, but yeah, big fan of this idea. Marvel Spider-Man 2 creative director Brian Intihar has confirmed that Insomniac's upcoming Wolverine game is set in the same universe as the studio's Spider-Man series. The Spider-Man IP has shot Insomniac games into the stratosphere, bringing the studio and Sony in turn incredible critical and commercial success. The developer is, of course, far from done with Marvel, because not only will it inevitably make a Marvel Spider-Man 3 and potentially even a Venom spin-off, it's also confirmed to be working on Marvel's Wolverine. One question that has been asked about the latter quite frequently since its unveiling in 2021 is whether or not it's going to be set in the same universe as Insomniac Spider-Man games, especially with the developer having described it as a standalone experience at the time of its announcement. As it turns out, that will indeed be the case. Speaking in a recent interview with Kinda Funny, Brian Intihar, creative director of Marvel Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, confirmed the upcoming Marvel's Wolverine is going to take place in Earth 1048, the same universe where Insomniac Spider-Man games are also set. Quote, they're all 1048, Intihar confirmed when asked if the Wolverine and Spider-Man games were set in the same universe. He also touched on why there are no references or Easter eggs tied to the upcoming Wolverine title in Marvel Spider-Man 2, something that many had expected to see, and said that it was a conscious decision made by Insomniac. Quote, there was a decision not to do it. Intihar said, I'm just trying to make Spider-Man and trying to get Spider-Man off the ground while there's another Marvel thing. I think for us it was like, quote, hey, let's just let that team cook. Let them make the game they want to make. And, who knows what the future holds. But right now, let's let them do their thing, and that's going to be great, end quote. What will that mean for how prominent the connections to Insomniac Spider-Man games will be in Marvel's Wolverine remains to be seen. Of course, there's little to no information about available on the latter, though earlier this year reports claim that Marvel's Wolverine would be a semi-open world title with Insomniac targeting a fall 2024 launch. Okay, we'll stop there. Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, exceptional games. Phenomenal, engaging, well-made universe with great story. Makes sense to put Wolverine in that too, right? Thoughts, babe?
Yeah, it does. I mean, as it's alluded to in this, and something I'm guessing the rest of you guys already know, but we don't have that much information as to what this game is going to actually consist of. So the fact that it's in the same timeline only gives us a very small glimpse of what to expect from the world as is. But what we're actually going to be getting from this as well, with it being a semi-open world game, like, is it going to be similar to like God of War or something? Like, I'm super looking forward to this. Like, as a Wolverine game, I just don't know what it is that we're going to be getting from it. We know it's going to be like ultra violent and things like that, which is pretty much the exact opposite of what Spider-Man is. So how these two worlds are going to collide, I don't know, but it definitely does give an option for the games to maybe cross paths at some point down the line. Maybe, I don't know, we get something with Deadpool to go alongside it, even though obviously that is just in the Marvel world, it's not a Sony thing. But yeah,
slight tangent question. Do you think, like, if we got a Deadpool game or some Deadpool DLC or whatever, do you think that could work without Ryan Reynolds?
We have had a Deadpool game in the past. Obviously, it came out I'm sure it came out on the 360. I don't think it did particularly well because it didn't match up to when the film came out. It was something that came out before it. So I'm not sure whether or not the average video game consumer had their eyes set on what Deadpool is. Like, obviously, when Deadpool ended up coming out, it was a fucking phenomenon, wasn't it? Like, you look forward to watching a Deadpool film now. But
just ask the question, because obviously Deadpool was.
I think it can.
It was its own thing, and then we got to see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in an X-Men film, and it was shit. It wasn't Deadpool at all. It was some weird Hollywood going, we know how to do Deadpool. We'll just make Ryan Reynolds look like a walking foreskin. And that's basically it. And it was weird as fuck. Didn't really work, and yeah, crap. But then Ryan Reynolds spearheaded a campaign from the actual comic book fans to bring the Deadpool that we all know and love back. Now you can't separate the two. Like, he is Deadpool, Deadpool is him. So it's like, I just wonder, like, obviously we got to see Tony Stark, who is Robert Downey Jr., as not Robert Downey Jr. in an Avengers game. Could they do that with a Deadpool thing, or would we have to get Ryan Reynolds' voice in with it? I kind of feel like we'd have to, and I feel like it's that high up in the spectrum of video games that it's probably a Hollywood crossover where Ryan Reynolds would be like, well, I don't even have to worry about running around in spandex or anything anymore. I'm clearly getting on a bit now. I'm not going to be able to do this forever, and now I can do this without even doing this. I just need talking to a microphone. So,
yeah, I think you're right with that. I mean, like you said, it wouldn't take much for him to be able to lend himself to the role if it was a Deadpool game. But like, I'm going to be honest, like, until the Deadpool game came out, I'd never even heard of it, never even knew that it was a comic book or anything. Since then, obviously, I haven't necessarily read every single comic book or anything like that, but I understand why Ryan Reynolds wanted to portray him, because literally it is Ryan Reynolds. Like, his sense of humor and his films, way before he even took up Deadpool, has that kind of humor with the character. So it's no coincidence why he ended up taking that role and making that character his own. You can't really separate their sense of humor from Deadpool to Ryan Reynolds. It feels like they are the same person.
Yeah.
So
if anyone's ever, like, that's just made like Deadpool / Free Guy / whatever are just Ryan Reynolds. It's just the same guy.
Yeah, like, he doesn't have to act. He literally just turns up and starts talking. Like, it's very difficult to be able to separate the character from the way that he is naturally. So it is the perfect fit for him. I do think if he had an idea of wanting to portray Deadpool in a video game again, it will be completely different from what we got with the Xbox 360 game. So I do think it would be a hit. I feel like because of the stock that the Deadpool game name has now, they could easily make a game of it and definitely make it a success. What the game consists of will always be its downfall, though. Like, it needs to be a compelling storyline. You can't just cash in on the fact that Deadpool now has a game, because that's where these types of things start to fall down. It's not like, I don't think there's been a terrible Spider-Man game, even on the PlayStation 2 when we was getting games on there. They are looked back on as decent games and a foundation for what we have now. However, you look at Superman games like on the N64, not really the same kind of feedback that you're going to be getting from them. So I think it will live and die by the storyline that is being put out in front of it. But I do think it could be a success if they have the right people writing it.
Yeah, I love the fact that Wolverine and Spider-Man sharing the same universe. You get an idea of a bit of a crossover there, because you can benchmark Wolverine against Spider-Man, and like Spider-Man will have more agility. Wolverine has just the fact that he's fucking made out of metal and has spikes and shit out of him. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, but in that sort of sense, whilst Deadpool can't die, he's not necessarily overly strong. He's not necessarily overly acrobatic, and he's durable like Wolverine is, but like Wolverine's probably going to be stronger because he's made out of an indestructible metal. Spider-Man's probably going to be more acrobatic because he's Spider-Man and he can shoot webs out of him and so on. So in that sort of world, it's kind of difficult to make Deadpool convincing enough. It's like, oh, he's just a dude with guns. Is it like, and then that guns is like pow pow pow. There's only so much. There's no feeling. Some of the best bits about Spider-Man is the feeling the web swinging and enjoying the ability that you actually are that character doing those things. If you had that and you have Wolverine doing all the Wolverine bits, Deadpool in between them, it'd have to be a standalone game where they're given nods to, but you don't play in the same category. It may be like Streets of Rage, choosing between like Axel and Blaze and whoever the fucking other characters and stuff are, and then like Deadpool in the middle going, oh, he's cool and I like him, but he doesn't do the cool stuff, so I'll go with the other guys. So in that sort of sense, yeah, we'll have one, but make sure you don't get to play Spider-Man and Wolverine in that game, because what's the point? But yeah, big fan. Yeah. I hope this works. I hope Wolverine, on that note, feels like Wolverine. I hope it's strong, and I hope we get to see like even this. There is. Wolverine's claws are coming through his knuckles and he's covered in blood. That's almost a world away from Spider-Man. Naturally, you get cuts and stuff from people look like they've been damaged and so on. But you throw a bad guy off the fucking side of a building, they don't fall to their death. A web suddenly comes out somewhere and it sticks them to the side of the building. Like, oh, you didn't die, he just stays there until you go far enough away for him to disappear. You presume he's been scraped off by a policeman with a big spatula or something like that. Nice. Yeah. Job's a good one. In Wolverine, I want to see limbs. I want to see fucking fingers dropping on the floor. Give me all that shit. So, yeah. And it will be quite a good juxtaposition. The nice, family-friendly neighborhood Spider-Man versus fucking Project X ripping people to bits. Yes, please. Yes, please. As long as not all the games are too similar, I think this will work out, says Ads. Wolverine being released on the Xbox or just PlayStation, says JMK. Don't know if that's banner or not, but just PlayStation, by the way. Nice. Oh, I'm wearing my PlayStation, Tony. I didn't even realize that the Superior brand was just merch. Okay. Didn't Ryan Reynolds play the Deadpool game with Jacksepticeye when it came out? Oh, I don't know. Ryan Reynolds has enough on trying to make Wrexham not shit. He's doing a good job, mate. Oh God, Superman N65. N65? God damn. Superman is the perfect one. We'll jump over to the next article, but I'll use that as a final point. Superman is the perfect example of how difficult it is to make a video game character based on superheroes. Because where is the growth arc, and how do you humanize / add elements of risk and defeat into Superman? If you are Superman that can go faster than anyone else, that can jump higher than anyone else, that is stronger than anyone else, that can literally fly around the world and turn back time and fucking stop bullets with your eyes and all the fucking other things that we've seen through Superman lore over the years. How can a dude on a street with a pistol stop you? Like, Spider-Man, you run around, there's a dude with a pistol. You're still just a kid, really. So, yeah, you've got all this stuff, but you don't want to get hurt too much or you'll be dead. It's not the case for Superman. So, does everyone suddenly have kryptonite guns? Well, what's that? That's a bit weird. Have you been poisoned or something and you're getting your powers back and that's the growth arc? Like nobody's found the right solution to the Superman problem. So, we've seen stuff like the Unreal Engine hack where someone's made it so that... you can fly around as Superman in the Matrix's UE5 demo. Wonderful. But that's your end game. How do you get to that point? How do you strip it back? Do you start off as Clark Kent in fucking, like, what was it called? Somerville? Is it Smallville? That's the one. Smallville?
Yeah.
Do you start off in Smallville and build your way back up to it? And then is that what the story that everyone wants to be, like, youth Spider-Man? Because you can't make a sequel off that if you finish the game fully powered. How do you go to the next one? It's a one-time... So, yeah. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that. Next article, Xbox. A new Xbox policy will unblock unauthorized accessories starting November. This is reportedly due to Microsoft lifting restrictions on wireless Xbox accessories by third-party manufacturers. Written by Shubhankar Parijat at Gaming Bolt. Interesting. So it looks like Microsoft is set to place new restrictions on what third-party accessories you will be able to use on your Xbox console, as reported by Windows Central, starting from November, which is a couple of days. Oh, how weird is that, by the way? November in a couple of days. Goddamn. Starting from November, unauthorized Xbox accessories made by third-party manufacturers will no longer be usable with Xbox Series X and S consoles. Recent days have seen players receiving error messages with the error code... I'm not going to read it out, with a code, informing them that their unauthorized connected accessories will no longer be usable starting November the 12th. Interestingly enough, Windows Central reports that, based on its sources, this is due to Microsoft gearing up to lift restrictions on wireless third-party accessories. Though traditionally the vast majority of third-party Xbox accessories have been wired, it's claimed that Microsoft now has an approval process in place for wireless third-party accessories, and that the new restrictions on unauthorized accessories could be a new security measure. Microsoft's still got to find details, keep you updated, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. Thank you very much, Gaming Bolt. But it's an interesting one, and it's a cool one. Xbox has gone, do you know what? People can make wired controllers for your Xbox, there's no problem. But we don't really do wireless stuff. That's why you don't really get, like, many things like SCUF sort of controllers dipping into the realms of Xbox, though, because you've got to get fully integrated into the Xbox infrastructure. It's difficult as fuck. Xbox are going, okay, we're gonna open the doors. Everyone's like, oh, nice. But then they've opened the doors, and it's like, okay, the doors are open, but now what you see is the big wall of security stood inside the doors. So yes, people that are legit can get in, but the security are going to stop your Cronus ends and your other things that aren't supposed to be there. So yeah, if you play games on Xbox, what a time to be alive. Like, all these Cronus users, let's start moving over to fucking PlayStation. Let's go, baby.
I don't think it'll be too long before PlayStation to start doing stuff like this as well. Like, if they can get in and say your accessories won't be able to work on our console unless we get a slice of the pie, or we need to be able to vet them. I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. Like, obviously, the things like the Mad Cat stuff, which is like a fraction of the price of what an actual controller costs. Bit of a pain in the ass if those things aren't actually classed as being an accessory that is endorsed by Microsoft. But across the board, it might be a good thing, because now cheating on consoles wasn't all that rife. Like, compare it to PC, like we're over here, we're living our best life.
Yeah.
When it comes to cheaters,
it might not feel like it if you play games that are open to it, like I do all the time. It might not feel like it at times, but yeah, overwhelmingly, if I lose a game, it's because I'm shit or the other guy was better. Very rarely is it that guy was cheating.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
No, you bang on. Like, when it comes down to controllers and stuff, it's usually down to skill or just awareness. Like, if you're playing a battle royale game, you can be killed in that game just by not being aware that someone was behind you. It might not necessarily be down to skill. But there is obviously occasions where someone is able to tamper with internet. Famously over on eFootball, people will be able to lag cheat. It's been a thing. Although I don't see it that much in eFootball 24. I don't think I've been lag cheated this year.
It's because you're the famous We've Got Pavino from Ice Cream Uploads. People know that they see it live on the internet, so fuck that guy.
Well, that's it. They just want to get themselves slapped back into Division 10 on that. But yeah, it's unless it's down to internet connections and things, it's very rare that you get people cheating with controllers or any kind of third-party peripheral. So the fact that people have been able to do that and Microsoft have gone, you're not going to do that anymore. It needs to be verified by us. I see that a step in the right direction. I know a lot of people, again, it will come down to price when they want to be able to just buy a cheap controller. But if it's not verified, then you probably want to be in the ecosystem where you know people aren't cheating and you don't want to get cheated against. So I see this as a step in the right direction, personally.
Yeah, big fan of this, big fan. I love the fact that they will open it up as well. So Cronus users, it's a dirty word that's thrown around on the internet. But technically, it's... There's grey areas as to whether that can and can't, should or shouldn't operate or whatever. But now Xbox going, if you want to make Cronus devices, that's fine. All you need to do is follow all the rules and be authorized. And to be authorized, the system basically needs to know when you're using certain things. So then the individual games can go, have a big list of devices. Well, basically, it'll be a big list of... let's use the word scripts that devices can and can't run. If your device uses this script, we can't use that on this game. So it'll be a case of Cronus Zen. I don't know if there is actually other Cronuses. I only know of Cronus Zen. But like, yeah, whatever Cronus devices there are out there, a game will go, you can't use this. So Cronus will have to be up front and go, here's our stuff. And then games will go, no, thank you. Which in theory should just make things like you can acknowledge that they're there. Or they'll be banned. It'll be interesting to see how things progress in terms of trying to circumvent those things, because no doubt there'll be a little bit of an early war where people go, we've got this other way of getting around their security measures and so on. But it'll be like having chipped Xboxes and stuff back in the day. People will find ways, and then Xbox will be like, nope, console banned and sort of shit. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it goes. I'm intrigued to see if the devices that enable cheaters themselves... Oh, sorry. I'm going to keep talking over this because, the podcast... Sorry. Oh, no. This is so long. I'm trying to keep talking so we don't get copyright striked on YouTube.
Oh,
no. Sorry. Nice. Okay. It'd be interesting to see whether, because Cronus making these devices isn't necessarily a bad thing. People using them to cheat is the bad thing, which is clearly that's what they've been made for. But it's that's just an intent versus whatever that you can't prove in law. I'm intrigued to see whether they go, we'll make it all legit and fully authorized by Xbox and stuff. I wonder if they'll actually go down that route, or if they'll just go, fuck it, we had a good run, lads. Let's wrap things up. So yeah, we'll go that way. Astronaut is welcome in. I've been playing on PC for the last 6 months because I got pissed off with cheats. I'm buying an Xbox tomorrow to support this. Huge, in my opinion. It's massive. It is massive.
Massive.
It does have some contrasting conversation pieces coming off it. Like Nietzsche shared it with me either last night or this morning or something. And one of his things is like, does that mean that people are just going to label PlayStation? What are you laughing at?
I can hear Joseph running around the landing upstairs, laughing his head off.
Does this mean that PlayStation's now all cheats? Because, like, if someone tells you, well, they physically can't cheat, so shut your mouth, then you go, all right then. But then someone goes, well, we can't tell you whether PlayStation users physically can cheat or not. Does this start the accusations towards PlayStation users? That'll be an interesting one to see, whether people go, that's it, dirty, cheaty, hacky PlayStation users. I mean, that exists in Call of Duty anyway, just because the majority of players are Xbox players, not Call of Duty, PUBG, but it'd be interesting to see whether that carries over to Call of Duty and things like that, where you get a good split, because everyone on every platform plays Call of Duty, so to speak. There's probably not a heavy bias towards one platform percentage-wise. Naturally, there is, because PlayStation will have more users. But I bet. Let's say if 80% of PlayStation users play Call of Duty, probably 80% of Call of Duty users play Call of Duty as well. So, in that sense, it's similar, representative. I'd be interested to see whether this starts off a conversation, and if it doesn't, or even if it does, if this is something that PlayStation will then move to enact as well, because PlayStation have famously been more open with third-party peripherals. You can get scuffs, you can get knock-on devices, and whatever that they've done over the years, all sorts of official licensed third-party controllers that are first-party licensed. Be interested to see whether PlayStation look to block things off and shore things up for that. So your Zim device, is he still running around? I can see you smiling away. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how PlayStation. Okay, and that one then I'll catch up with the chat, jump on the next one, and then we can get Josephine on the stream. Yeah, baby. If it's just limited to cheating hardware, then yes, this will bump up prices across the board. If they did this on SNES, me and Graham would not two days straight on Mario Kart because we were skint. What? David, tell me again. All deserved anyway. What, Xboxes? I know, right? Spike! Welcome in, Spike. Thank you very much for the raid. How you doing? Hey. What you been playing? You've just caught us just as we jump into our last news article. We spoke about a few things. We kicked off talking about Nintendo's new Switch is a weird-looking device. We've spoken about Marvel's Wolverine and Spider-Man. The PlayStation games are going to have a shared universe, so you might get some continuing story arcs. And we've just been talking about Xbox banning unauthorized peripherals, so your Cronus and things like that, starting on the 12th of November. And now you join just as we jump into our final news story, which is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Games industry mergers and acquisitions expected to, quote, increase steadily over the next year. Sony, Take-Two, Tencent, and Savvy/Scoreplay predicted to be the most active deal makers. I mean, we've spoken about this before, so we probably don't need to go into this too much, but it's a nice little overview. Following a relatively quiet third quarter, games industry investment and deals are expected to rise steadily over the next 12 months. That's the opinion of Michael Metzger, a partner at tech mergers and acquisitions investment bank Drake Star. As reported by Axios, Drake Star tracked 33 mergers and acquisitions deals worth some $5 billion between July and September. By volume, the figure was a 2-year low, but the value of the deals exceeded those made in 3 of the previous 5 quarters. Drake Star also tracked almost $1 billion in private investment in the games industry during the third quarter, which was up from the previous 3 months. Quote, based on our discussions with many top gaming companies in the last weeks, we expect the deal volume to increase steadily over the next year, Metzger told Axios. He expects Sony, Take-Two, Tencent, and Savvy/Scoreplay to be the most active buyers next year, and for Embracer Group to sell some studios. Almost 2 years after the acquisition was first announced earlier this month, Microsoft officially closed its $69 billion. Nice. Activision Blizzard acquisition. I'll stop there. We get the idea of that. But everyone but Xbox, you can pretty much expect. Xbox has already thrown its hat in the ring, picking up the biggest potential acquisition piece out there with Activision Blizzard King. As a result of that, expect movement elsewhere. Sony, Take-Two, Tencent, Savvy, all of those to start buying some bits up over the next 12 months or so. Could be an interesting 12 months. I am particularly interested to see if Sony go out and buy up smaller studios. Fine, it's hardly going to move the needle. But if Sony went and bought an EA, would we get the Activision Blizzard sort of court case? Would Xbox go, nope, we're not having that? Or just to slow it down and drag it out? Or would they be just fuck it, we can't do that because that'll look a bit silly on us after everything that we've just been through? So that's the bit for me. I kind of feel like it'll just happen because there's a precedent now, and Xbox don't want to look silly for it. So yeah, not even the fact of the mergers. I just want to know that little tidbit whether Xbox are going to try and throw a spanner in the works, because you can't blame them for wanting to just trip them up. Well, absolutely, you've legged me up. I'm going to fucking leg you up for 2 years as well.
I think they will. I think they will, and it'd be justified in doing it. Obviously, this has been dragging. The Activision Blizzard deal has been dragged on forever. So yeah, I do feel like if EA was to become available and Sony thought, do you know what, we'll have a bit of that. I mean, Xbox will never stand aside. They might just go, well, for Bants, we'll put our hat into the ring. What they might not have any intention of buying it. But yeah, they're not going to stand aside and just let them go. Okay, no problems. They're probably going to fuck around with Sony just to try it, just for Bants. But yeah, that's
the thing. It's I wonder whether because you've got the pettiness where he's like, I'm just going to be a dick here for the sake of it. But then the other bit is like Xbox is good guy Xbox right now. They from a brand's perspective and their relationship with their consumers, Xbox is the better placed right now. PlayStation is the bigger gaming brand out of the two, but Xbox has the better good guy Xbox image. So for them to lean in and go, no, we don't want them to buy that. It sets up the whole, so it was all right for you, but not right for anyone else, which changes their image and makes them look a little bit petty. So part of me wonders, like, would they do that? Because, I mean, you can't blame them for, like, fucking shit up. But also, it's just like, you kind of hope that they don't do it just so they can go, look, we're not as petty as you. And then full on get on the high horse kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. Either way, everyone predicts that everyone's going to be buying shit up. And the interesting thing as well is it mentions ex-PlayStation boss Sean Layden in this. We didn't get that far into the article, but seeing that has put me onto something else. Is we've got ex-PlayStation boss Sean Layden. We'll soon have ex-PlayStation boss Jim Ryan, which means there will be a new boss who suddenly wants to stamp his or her foot on the games industry as the boss of PlayStation. Under Jim Ryan's leadership, we saw Bungie get bought to try and change the future of like live service games for PlayStation. There's a massive push towards trying to make a few of those succeed. Will we see someone else come in with more of a sports background and suddenly does EA look like something else? So you can guarantee whoever becomes the president will suddenly have a big push to whatever region they're from. And that's a key thing as well. Under different leadership, under Sean Layden, PlayStation was a very different country, a very different business from Jim Ryan, who was EU-focused, to the previous tenure. And then the next one, like, is it going to be another European dude? Are we going to get Herman Hulst from PlayStation Studios stepping up? Are we going to get someone from the Americas region stepping up? Are we going to get a Japanese person at the top of it again? Because all of that changes the direction of the business. So, yes, 100%. This article says, from an economic perspective, expect a lot more buyouts. I think from a PlayStation-only perspective, just the fact that there's someone new in there, expect buyouts anyway. So, interesting 12 months. Nice. Yeah. Are you claiming OT for this or toil? Overtime or what the fuck is toil?
Time in lieu?
Time
I don't know what the O is.
Time off in lieu? Neither, mate.
Neither.
Overtime, yeah. Don't Microsoft and EA already have some sort of relationship? EA plays included with Game Pass Ultimate. That's just a sort of Microsoft Game Pass sweetener, because PlayStation has really good deals with EA for access to content and so on as well, and so on. So I think PlayStation is EA's preferred brand for all of esports and things like that too, for like FIFA's, like FC24s and stuff like that. So bit of both. Off topic, mate, but is your PUBG clan full up or not? I'll be looking for a home. Nope. Just get in there, search for ICU, Ice Cream Uploads. Get in here. Yeah.
Get in here.
Do you know what? We'll do a sweep around at a point soon and see if there's anyone that has one of these motherfuckers. Yeah. The PUBG clan, the ICU clan medal. An actual real clan medal, not just one that you get in game. Look at that. How many other clans out there have got like a little, yeah, baby? So we'll do a sweep soon where we'll reopen it up for people that are in the clan that haven't had one to get one. Nice. Only £1.50 postage packaging. Exactly. Let's go, baby.
Just a low price.
So yeah, there you go. Okay, that is the end of the news. A quick recap. Expect lots of businesses to be bought and sold in video games over the next 12 months. Xbox will ban dodgy console controller things on November the 12th. Marvel's Wolverine, Insomniac Spider-Man are going to be in the same universe, apparently. And Nintendo have a weird-ass switch to sequel successor device thing, maybe. For now, we're going to wrap things up. Just to let anyone know that maybe late into this podcast, we do podcast usually, in an ideal world, 5 times a week. At the moment, we're lucky if we can get 2. We might get you a 3 at a push. 4. 5's probably unlikely, as is 4. So it is what it is. It is lies. No, it's not lies. We don't stream 5 times a week with a scoop. Where are we lying there? God damn it. So yeah, do feel free to come back Probably not tomorrow, because it's busy all day already. I know from my perspective, I've got multiple meets already, so we're probably not going to be back tomorrow, but we will still bring you the gameplay content around this. So if you do want some PUBG content, Wednesday evening / Saturday morning, if you want some FIFA / EAFC / whatever they want to call that game these days, plus eFootball or some Call of Duties or whatever else we want to play, jump in on Fridays for me and Bib. Nice.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Before any of that happens, we'll bring Joseph in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Babe, open the door. Unleash the boy.
Yeah.
They say, hiya. Oh, you don't have to press everything, you know.
Press it.
Say, hiya.
Joseph, can we get a Stay Frosty?
Oh, say, stay frosty.
Yeah.
That's as good as you're getting. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining today's episode of The Scoop. If you do want to help us shape the remaining shows as to when they will be this week, then there's two ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. All you need to do is drop in the URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions, including Joseph's. At what time on our next show? Mr. Graham Day! Daddy
Ish.
Meow!
Nice.
Oh, baby.
Oh, look how big he is. Honestly.
He's massive.
Oh, was it about
Absolute unit.
you? You've grown up, babe.
Need to stop feeding him.
Yeah.
Good night.
What?
He said good night.
Good night.
Oh, he's saying good night? Okay, let me get that bogey. Ooh, we'll get that.
Save that one.
Yeah. I'll wipe that on my pajama bottoms and I'll get rid of them in a bit.
Yeah. Parent life. You love to see it.
Absolutely.
On that bombshell, we are going to disappear, all three of us. So we appreciate you dropping in. Have yourselves a beautiful evening. We will see you, if not before, on Wednesday. And Joseph definitely just said, stay frosty. So from me a bib.
He did. Say, stay frosty.
Frosty.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do. Yay.